Welcome to Sleep with Stories. Tonight we walk together into a realm where silence breathes, where every raindrop carries a secret, and where the earth itself hums with memories too old to name. This is not a place of haste, but of surrender, a sanctuary for weary hearts seeking stillness. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale the cool scent of rain-soaked moss, and exhale the weight you've carried all day. With each breath, feel your steps lighten, as if the forest floor itself has agreed to hold you, to carry you softly forward. Our journey brings us into the whispering glade, a quiet canvas of greens and grays, where a gentle, perpetual rain weaves its lullaby through ancient leaves. Here, sound is soft and edges are blurred, and the world folds itself into calm. And there, among the roots of time, we meet Agnes Silvertree, 88 years of age. Her hands resting lightly on a gnarled root, her eyes like still ponds, reflecting centuries of quiet knowing. She does not speak, for words are unnecessary. Her presence alone deepens the hush, as though the glade itself leans closer in reverence. Agnes is a keeper of forgotten stories, and through her, the forest seems to murmur its truths. If these tranquil journeys bring you peace, remember to like and subscribe for more moments of quiet wonder, each one waiting to guide you deeper into rest. Now, release your shoulders, soften your breath, and let the story take you further. You step onto a pathway made of whisper moss, its damp softness cushioning your every stride. The whispering glade embraces you, a canvas of greens and grays where a perpetual soft rain whispers against ancient leaves. This gentle cadence creates a natural lullaby, guiding your tranquil expedition. You notice Agnes Silvertree, 88, her wrinkled hands resting lightly on a gnarled root. Her eyes, like still ponds, reflect the ancient light, holding a profound tranquility that seems to deepen the quiet around you. She simply observes, a keeper of forgotten stories, her presence a soft hum in the humid air. Agnes remained perfectly still, her gaze fixed on something unseen among the deep green shadows that stretched beyond the gnarled root. The gentle patter of the ceaseless drizzle continued its soft serenade, each drop a tiny, almost inaudible note on the broad leaves of the ancient ferns that lined the pathway. You felt the subtle shift in the air, a profound tranquility that seemed to emanate from her very being, settling around you like the softest mist. The whisper moss beneath your feet absorbed every sound, creating a pocket of silence that was only occasionally breached by the distant, muffled drip of water from the higher canopy. You stood there, breathing in the scent of damp earth and verdant growth, a perfume that spoke of timeless cycles and deep, undisturbed life. The world here was a study in greens and grays, endless variations of emerald, jade, and olive blending with the charcoal of wet bark and the misty silver of the rain itself. There were no harsh edges, no sudden bursts of color, only a gentle, undulating tapestry that soothed the eye and quieted the mind. Your shoulders, which you hadn't realized were tense, began to soften, a subtle release that mirrored the gentle surrender of the forest to its perpetual moisture. Agnes slowly, almost imperceptibly, shifted her weight. Her eyes, still like the surface of quiet pools, seemed to invite you to look deeper, not at any particular object, but into the very essence of the glade. It was as if she held a secret key to its rhythms, her presence a living conduit to the ancient narratives etched into the very stones and trees. You wondered what stories her silent gaze had witnessed over the countless seasons she had spent in this realm. Her fingers, still resting on the root, moved with the lightest touch, a delicate caress that seemed to acknowledge a silent bond with the slumbering wood. It wasn't a gesture of ownership or control, but one of deep respect and understanding, as if the root itself were a sentient being sharing its silent wisdom. The path ahead curved gently, disappearing into a veil of shimmering rain. Each droplet caught the ambient light, creating a myriad of tiny fleeting sparkles that dissolved as quickly as they appeared. This was not a place to rush, but to drift, to allow the current of the glade to carry you. The sensation of the whisper moss beneath your solace was uniquely grounding, a deep, yielding softness that encouraged a deliberate, measured pace. It felt less like walking and more like floating, each step cushioned by layers of damp, living velvet. The air itself seemed to hum with a nearly imperceptible energy, a quiet thrum that resonated deep within your chest, aligning your heartbeat with the slow, steady pulse of the forest. You observed Agnes' profile, the soft lines of her face etched by years, yet radiating a profound serenity. She embodies the tranquility of this place, a living testament to the glade's power to calm and restore. There was a faint, almost inaudible sigh that escaped her lips, a sound so soft it might have been the rustle of a distant leaf or the whisper of the rain itself. It carried no trace of weariness or sorrow, but rather a deep, contented breath, a full acceptance of the moment. Her quietude was infectious, encouraging your own thoughts to slow, to unfurl like the delicate fronds of a newly opened fern. As you continued to absorb the stillness, a figure emerged from the soft mist further along the winding path. It was Caleb Dewdrop, 32, his movements as quiet and fluid as the shifting fog. His eyes, the color of moss after a fresh rain, seemed to shimmer with an inner awareness, as if he perceived details that remained hidden to others. He carried himself with a gentle grace, his slender build blending almost seamlessly with the delicate lines of the surrounding trees. He was observing a cluster of minuscule droplets clinging to a spiderweb, suspended between two slender branches, their intricate patterns momentarily catching the diffused light before melting away. He didn't seem to notice your presence or Agnes at first, lost in his quiet contemplation, his innate ability to perceive unseen enchantments guiding his gaze. Caleb eventually turned, a soft smile gracing his lips as his eyes met Agnes's. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a shared reverence for the subtle magic of the glade. He offered a slight nod to Agnes, a gesture of profound respect that required no words. Then his gaze drifted to you, a quiet acknowledgement in his shimmering eyes, inviting you to share in his silent observation. He pointed a slender finger towards the nearly invisible spiderweb, and for a moment, the world narrowed to those tiny, shimmering jewels, each reflecting a miniature, distorted image of the lush forest around you. It was a fleeting, beautiful moment, a subtle invitation to look closer, to truly see the delicate artistry of the glade. The air grew heavier, thick with the scent of wet earth and ancient leaves, and the rain, if possible, became even softer, a veil drawn across the landscape. The path, still cushioned by whisper moss, seemed to invite you deeper into the heart of the glade. Agnes began to move, her steps deliberate and soundless, leading the way with an unspoken assurance. Caleb fell into step behind her, his movements equally hushed, and you followed, a quiet procession winding through the verdant labyrinth. The sense of profound relaxation deepened with every step, the outside world fading into a distant, indistinct memory. Your mind, once buzzing with the echoes of daily concerns, now felt cleansed, a smooth, still surface reflecting only the gentle beauty around you. The trail gradually narrowed, the ancient trees growing closer, their moss-draped branches forming a natural archway. The light grew dimmer here, filtered by layers of dense foliage and the persistent rain. A new aroma wafted through the air, faint yet distinct, an earthy sweetness like old wood and something subtly metallic, the scent of unseen minerals. The whisper moss here was even thicker, absorbing almost all ambient sound, creating an almost sacred hush. You could feel the subtle shift in temperature, a cool dampness that permeated everything, yet was not unpleasant. It felt like entering a hidden chamber, a place where the glade held its breath. You were approaching Lamino Hearth. The first sign was a faint ethereal glow emanating from within the deeper shadows. It wasn't a bright light, but a soft, pulsating luminescence, like moonlight trapped beneath layers of leaves. As you stepped into the secluded space, the light became more pronounced. This was Lumino Hearth, a hidden grove dominated by the silent, breathtaking beauty of glimmercap fungi. They sprouted from the damp earth, from the decaying logs, and even from the lower trunks of ancient trees, casting an otherworldly radiance upon the forest floor. The glimmercaps glowed in hues of soft cerulean, pale emerald, and a delicate pearlescent white. Each cap, no larger than a thumbprint, pulsed with a gentle inner light, illuminating the intricate veins of nearby leaves and casting elongated, dancing shadows of unseen insects. The effect was mesmerizing. It was not a grand display, but a subtle, intimate spectacle, drawing your gaze closer, inviting you to observe the tiny details. Inviting you to observe the tiny details. The air here felt different, almost shimmering with a quiet energy, a testament to the unseen magic that Orin often perceived. Caleb knelt silently beside a cluster of the fungi, his eyes wide with a gentle awe. He reached out a hand, not to touch, but to hover, as if feeling the warmth of their faint glow. Agnes stood nearby, her expression unreadable, yet her posture radiated a deep, knowing satisfaction. This was a familiar sight to her, a constant reminder of the glade's hidden wonders. You felt a similar pull, a sense of wonder unburdened by any need for explanation or analysis. It was simply beautiful, a silent, living artwork. The perpetual suffering continued, but here, under the thick canopy of Lumino Hearth, it felt like a gentle mist, a finer spray that settled on your skin like dew. The drops glistened on the glimmer caps, amplifying their light, making them seem like scattered jewels across a dark velvet cloth. You noticed how the light illuminated tiny, almost invisible strands of moss, transforming them into delicate silver threads. A small beetle, iridescent in its shell, crawled slowly across the glowing cap, its path momentarily highlighted before it disappeared back into the shadows. This was the shimmering revelation. It wasn't a thunderous realization, but a quiet, internal unfolding. It was the understanding that true magic often resides not in the grand or the spectacular, but in the subtle, the overlooked, the delicate beauty that requires patient observation to truly appreciate. Your mind drifted, absorbing the soft light, the quiet hum, the earthy scent. All the day's concerns, once insistent and demanding, now felt distant, insignificant against the backdrop of this timeless, glowing sanctuary. The peace was profound, a deep wellspring of calm bubbling up from within. You stayed for a long time, simply observing, allowing the ethereal light to wash over you, to soothe the restless edges of your spirit. Caleb, still kneeling, seemed to merge with the scene, his stillness a perfect counterpoint to the gentle pulsation of the fungi. Agnes, ever watchful, offered no words, her presence a silent anchor in this dreamlike space. The experience was deeply personal, yet shared in a profound, unspoken way with your companions. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated presence, where time seemed to dissolve, leaving only the gentle, breathing moment. As the light subtly shifted, indicating a slight thinning of the cloud cover far above, Agnes began to move again, her soft steps guiding you out of Lumino Hearth. The transition back to the general greens and grays of the glade was seamless, the lingering memory of the glowing fungi imprinted on your mind. The path widened slightly, and the rain felt a little more substantial once more, a comforting rhythm against the leaves. The air around you began to subtly change again, carrying a new, almost imperceptible resonance. It was a very low thrum, felt more than heard, like the deep vibration of a distant, colossal bell that had just been struck. This gentle, pervasive sound was the signature of the Viridian Vale, an ancient valley where the very trees seemed to hum with nearly inaudible melodies. As you ventured deeper, the ground beneath the whisper moss grew firmer, revealing the gnarled, ancient roots of colossal trees that broke through the surface, intertwining like sleeping serpents. These trees were truly ancient. their massive trunks reaching skyward, disappearing into the perpetual mist and rain. Their bark was a canvas of deep, furrowed grays and greens, adorned with layers of soft, velvety moss and delicate ferns. You could feel the immense weight of time in this place, the sense of countless centuries having passed in slow, quiet observation. The hum was now more distinct, a low, resonant drone that seemed to emanate from the very earth itself, rising through the roots and into the colossal trunks. It was a sound that bypassed the ears and resonated directly in the core of your being, a soothing vibration that quieted any lingering dissonance. Agnes paused beneath the widest of these ancient sentinels, her head tilted slightly, as if listening to a private conversation between the trees and the earth. Her eyes, still and reflective, seemed to penetrate the veil of time, connecting with the deep, slumbering energy of the roots below. Caleb stood a short distance away, his eyes closed, his face serene. He seemed to be actively absorbing the hum, his slender frame perfectly still, a receiver attuned to the subtle frequencies of the glade. The perpetual rain here felt like a benediction, each drop a blessing upon the hallowed ground, enriching the deep, dark earth where these titans drew their life. You too closed your eyes, allowing the subtle vibrations to wash over you. The Viridian Vale was a sanctuary of profound peace, a place where the world felt utterly secure, anchored by the ancient strength of these silent giants. The hum seemed to lull your thoughts into a soft, dreamlike state, a gentle current carrying you away from the shores of conscious awareness. The air was cool and sweet, imbued with the rich scent of damp, dark soil, and the clean, earthy fragrance of old wood. The experience was profoundly grounding, connecting you to the very pulse of the living world, a quiet voyage into the deepest layers of tranquility. As you opened your eyes, a flicker of movement, almost too delicate to register, caught your attention. It was the ephemeral sighting. A creature of pure moonlight and shadow, the gossamer moth, also known as the ether moth, drifted silently through the filtered light between two ancient trunks. Its wings were an almost imperceptible flutter, translucent and shimmering, catching the faint glow from some unseen source, perhaps residual light from the glimmer caps, or simply the inherent magic of the glade. It was larger than any moth you had ever seen, yet impossibly light, moving with an ethereal grace that defied gravity. The ether moth was a visible manifestation of subtle enchantment and fleeting beauty, a rare and magical creature meant for observation. It did not fly in a direct path, but rather danced, weaving intricate, invisible patterns in the air, its presence a fleeting whisper in the hushed valley. Its delicate antennae twitched almost imperceptibly, sensing the unseen currents of the glade. You watched, mesmerized, as it slowly spiraled upward, higher and higher, until it became a mere speck against the backdrop of a misty canopy, then vanished altogether, leaving only the lingering impression of impossible beauty and profound grace. Caleb opened his eyes, a gentle smile gracing his lips, a shared understanding of the fleeting magic. Agnes, too, seemed to have observed the moth, a faint, knowing light in her still eyes. The sighting felt like a personal gift from the glade, a confirmation of the hidden wonders that only reveal themselves to those who approach with patience and a quiet heart. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated awe, a whisper of the extraordinary within the ordinary, a fleeting glimpse of the dreamlike reality that permeates the whispering glade. The journey had now led you deep into a state of profound unwinding. The insistent clamor of the outside world felt entirely muted, a distant echo from another lifetime. Your mind had shed its burdens, one by one, much like the gentle rain coaxing ancient leaves from their branches. The perpetual soft rain, once a background hum, had woven itself into the fabric of your consciousness, becoming a natural lullaby that resonated with every fiber of your being. You felt a deep sense of presence, a quiet contentment that settled over you like the softest, warmest blanket. The greens and grays of the glade, the subtle light of the fungi, the resonant hum of the ancient trees, the fleeting dance of the ether moth, all contributed to this serene symphony, guiding you to the very edge of a peaceful, dreamlike state. There was no need to analyze, no desire to question, only to be present. Fully immersed in the tranquil embrace of the whispering glade, you felt your breath deepen, slowing to a gentle rhythm that mirrored the slow, steady pulse of the ancient earth beneath you. Every muscle in your body felt loose and untroubled, every thought a soft cloud drifting lazily across a vast, clear sky. The world outside the glade, with its demands and its hurry, had ceased to exist. Here, there was only the moment, perfect and still, a quiet voyage into the depths of unburdened consciousness. The path ahead began a gentle descent, leading you towards a clearer stream whose distant murmur was now becoming discernible, a new, gentle voice in the glade's soft symphony. The path ahead began a gentle descent, leading you towards a clearer stream whose distant murmur was now becoming discernible, a new, gentle voice in the glade's soft symphony. The sound was distinct from the ceaseless patter of the rain. It was a liquid whisper, a constant, flowing melody that spoke of ceaseless motion and cool, pristine depths. The whisper moss, still cushioning your steps, grew slightly denser here, absorbing even the faintest rustle, ensuring that only the stream song filled the air. As you rounded a gentle bend, the stream unveiled itself, a ribbon of shimmering silver winding through the muted greens and grays. Its waters were astonishingly clear, revealing a bed of smooth, water-worn stones and myriad shades of soft brown, ochre, and pale, almost translucent gray. Delicate tendrils of aquatic plants, a vibrant, deep emerald, swayed gracefully beneath the surface, performing a slow, silent dance in the gentle current. The air here was cooler, imbued with the crisp, clean scent of fresh water and damp stone, a refreshing contrast to the earthy perfume of the deeper forest. Agnes paused at the water's edge, her gaze following the flow of the stream. Her hands, resting lightly at her sides, seemed to absorb the tranquility of the scene. Caleb knelt, his eyes fixed on a cluster of iridescent bubbles that rose from a patch of riverbed moss, breaking silently on the surface. He seemed to perceive the miniature ecosystems thriving within the stream's gentle embrace, the hidden lives of tiny creatures darting through the water. His presence, as always, was a quiet invitation to look closer, to truly see the subtle wonders unfolding before you. You found yourself drawn to the stream, the temptation to touch the cool, flowing water almost irresistible. The sound was incredibly soothing, a constant, rhythmic hush that smoothed the edges of any lingering thoughts. It was the sound of persistence, of gentle erosion, of time flowing as relentlessly and calmly as the water itself. Your mind, already lulled by the glade, seemed to align with this new rhythm, a deeper layer of peace settling over your consciousness. The worries that had once clung to your periphery now felt utterly dissolved, replaced by a profound sense of lightness. The path continued to follow the stream, weaving along its bank. The trees here were less dense than in the Viridian Vale, allowing a slightly brighter, albeit still diffused, light to filter through the canopy. This light played across the water, creating fleeting patterns of silver and shadow, a constantly shifting tapestry of soft brilliance. You noticed how the rain, when it touched the surface of the stream, created tiny, expanding rings that merged and disappeared, an endless, intricate choreography. Caleb, ever observant, pointed to a small, flat stone at the very edge of the water. On it, a minuscule, perfectly formed spiral shell, no larger than your smallest fingernail, glistened with moisture. It was empty, a testament to a life lived and completed, now returned to the silent cycle of the glade. The beauty was in its perfect imperfection, the delicate whorls carved by unseen forces, a miniature masterpiece offered by the stream. There was no need for grand pronouncements, just the shared, quiet appreciation of such a small, exquisite detail. Agnes, with a soft, almost imperceptible gesture, indicated for you to continue. Her steps were as light as the falling rain, leaving no trace on the whisper moss. The stream gradually widened, its gentle current accelerating slightly, creating a series of small, melodious cascades over submerged stones. The sound intensified, transforming into a harmonious gurgle, a symphony of liquid notes that filled the air. It was a sound that enveloped you, creating a private world within the glade, where only the water's voice held sway. You felt a deeper sense of connection to the natural world here, a tangible thread linking your own breath to the flow of the stream, your heartbeat to the gentle pulse of the earth. The cool, damp air seemed to fill your lungs with pure tranquility, cleansing away any residual tension. Your shoulders were completely relaxed, your jaw soft, your brow smooth. This was not merely relaxation. It was a profound surrender, a conscious release of all internal resistance. You were simply an observer, a gentle presence moving through a living dream. As the stream continued its meandering journey, it led you towards a wider, more open space, a sort of natural amphitheater carved by millennia of water and wind. Here, the canopy thinned significantly, allowing the perpetually overcast sky to cast a softer, more expansive light onto the landscape. The stream broadened into a shallow pool, its surface perfectly still in places, reflecting the muted sky like a vast, dark mirror. This tranquil basin was cradled by a gentle slope, covered in a lush carpet of mosses that shimmered with moisture. In the center of this pool, emerging from the serene waters, stood a cluster of ancient, water-smooth stones, their surfaces covered in a tapestry of emerald green algae and miniature ferns. They seemed like silent sentinels, standing guard over the heart of this tranquil sanctuary. The stream's flow was almost imperceptible here, a gentle current guiding the water into and out of the pool without disturbing its glassy surface. The air was filled with a deeper quietude, the soft murmur of the stream now a distant background hum. Agnes slowly approached the edge of the pool, her eyes tracing the reflection of the sky. She reached out a hand, her fingers barely skimming the water's surface, creating the faintest of ripples that expanded in perfect circles, then vanished. It was a gesture of communion, a silent acknowledgement of the pool's serene power. Caleb stood beside her, his head tilted, his gaze seemingly directed at the intricate patterns of moss on the wet stones, perhaps perceiving the tiny movements of unseen life within their verdant folds. You felt an overwhelming sense of calm here, a profound stillness that resonated deep within your bones. It was as if the glade itself was breathing, a slow, deep exhalation that enveloped everything. The colors of the pool, the deep, reflective grays of the water, the vibrant greens of the mosses, the subtle browns of the stones created a palette of profound peace. Your eyes no longer sought out individual details, but rather absorbed the entire scene, allowing the harmonious blend of forms and hues to wash over you. This place, this tranquil basin, seemed to embody the very essence of the profound unwinding. There was nothing left to do, nowhere left to go, nothing left to seek. All desires had dissolved, all anxieties evaporated. Your mind was not empty, but rather filled with a soft, expansive awareness, a gentle clarity that allowed you to simply be. The soft rain continued, a constant, comforting presence, each drop a gentle caress on your skin, a reaffirmation of the glade's timeless embrace. You found a smooth, moss-covered stone near the water's edge and sat down, feeling the cool, damp texture beneath you. The ground yielded slightly, a natural cushion. From this vantage point, you could truly appreciate the subtle artistry of the glade, the way the light, even on this perpetually overcast day, created a soft, ethereal glow on the distant trees. The delicate shimmer of unseen mist rising from the water and the faintest currents of air. The quiet, almost inaudible hum that still resonated from the deeper parts of the valley, a lingering echo of the ancient trees. Your breath had become remarkably slow and deep, a gentle ebb and flow that mirrored the quiet currents of the pool. Your heartbeat felt soft and steady, a comforting rhythm that resonated with the pulse of the living earth. You noticed the subtle shifts in the scent of the air, the earthy richness of damp soil, the clean mineral tang of the water, a faint, sweet hint of some unseen bloom carried on the mist. It was a symphony of quiet sensations, each one contributing to an overarching sense of peace. Agnes, her silhouette serene against the misty backdrop, turned her head slightly towards you. There was a faint, almost imperceptible smile on her lips, a silent acknowledgement of your journey's completion, of the profound peace you had found. Her eyes, reflecting the still waters of the pool, held a depth of understanding that transcended words. Caleb, still by the water's edge, simply sat down beside her, his movements as fluid and unhurried as the gentle stream. They were silent guardians of this tranquility, their presence a testament to the glade's enduring power. As you sat there, enveloped in the quietude, your perceptions began to shift further. The line between what was seen and what was felt blurred. The sounds of the glade, the gentle rain, the distant murmur of the stream, the almost inaudible hum of the ancient earth seemed to merge into a single continuous resonance, a fundamental tone that underscored all existence. It was not a sound you heard with your ears alone, but one that resonated deep within your core, a vibration of absolute peace. The visual landscape softened, losing its sharp distinctions. The greens and grays blended into an undulating canvas, a living painting where every shade transitioned seamlessly into the next. The edges of the trees seemed to blur, their forms melting into the misty atmosphere. The bioluminescent glow of the glimmer caps, though unseen from here, lingered in your mind's eye, a soft ethereal imprint, a reminder of the subtle magic that permeates every corner of this realm. The fleeting image of the ether moth, its gossamer wings catching an impossible light, drifted through your thoughts like a gentle dream. You felt an exquisite lightness, a sense of being untethered from all earthly concerns. The weight of your own body seemed to dissipate, leaving behind only a pure, unburdened consciousness. It was a state of profound presence, yet paradoxically, a feeling of gentle dissolution. You were no longer observing the glade from the outside. You were part of it, an integral thread in its tapestry of greens and grays, its endless lullaby of rain and flowing water. The experience was like a slow, deep breath, held at its peak, then released with utter serenity. Your mind, once a bustling marketplace of thoughts and worries, was now a vast, still lake, reflecting only the calm, unblemished sky. There was no past, no future, only the eternal, tranquil now. This was the true culmination of the journey, the deepest layer of the profound unwinding. It was not an endpoint, but a timeless state of being, a gentle immersion into the very essence of peace. Your eyelids grew heavy, not with weariness, but with the luxurious weight of absolute relaxation. The visual world began to recede, replaced by an inner landscape of soft, shifting colors and gentle, formless light. The sounds of the glade became more distant, more abstract, weaving themselves into a continuous, soothing hum that cradled your consciousness. You felt a deep, abiding warmth spreading through your entire being, a comfort that surpassed any physical sensation. You were floating, not in water, but in a vast ocean of tranquility. The glade had guided you to this place, to this profound quietude, to the very edge of sleep, yet it was a wakeful sleep, a state of heightened awareness devoid of effort. The gentle cadence of the perpetual soft rain continued, drumming against ancient leaves, smoothing the world into a canvas of greens and grays, and lulling your mind into a peaceful, dreamlike state. It was a quiet voyage to the very edge of sleep, a journey into the heart of stillness. You breathed in, slowly, deeply, and released the breath, feeling the last vestiges of any earthly connection softly unravel. The whispering glade had opened its heart to you, revealing its subtle enchantments, its ancient wisdom, and its boundless capacity for peace. And in turn, you had surrendered, allowing its gentle current to carry you to this profound and utterly tranquil destination. The world outside had faded completely, leaving only the soft embrace of the glade and the limitless peace within. Your eyes closed fully, not in sleep, but in a deeper kind of knowing, a quiet awareness that transcended sight. The sounds of the glade continued, a gentle serenade, a lullaby without end. You were simply present, utterly at peace, a quiet echo in the heart of the whispering glade, drifting into the boundless depths of pure, unburdened serenity. The quiet echo in the heart of the whispering glade, the boundless depths of pure, unburdened serenity continued to envelop you, expanding beyond the physical boundaries of your body. The world you had known, with its sharp edges and insistent demands, had receded entirely, like a distant shore disappearing into a soft, benevolent mist. What remained was an exquisite lightness, a feeling of being suspended in a vast, gentle space where gravity held no sway and time stretched into an endless, peaceful present. The constant, soft rain, no longer a distinct sound of individual drops, had transformed into a continuous, soothing hum, a fundamental tone that resonated deep within your core. It was the glade's own heartbeat, slow and steady, felt more than heard. This pervasive hum was woven through the gentle murmur of the distant stream, now a liquid memory, and the almost inaudible melodies that still emanated from the ancient trees in the Viridian Vale. All these sounds merged, becoming a single, harmonious chord that cradled your consciousness, inviting you deeper into its embrace. Your perception of the pool, the still surface that had reflected the muted sky, now existed as a soft, shimmering impression in your mind's eye. It was not a visual image, but a felt sensation of depth and stillness, a vast mirror of inner peace. The greens of the mosses, the grays of the water-smooth stones, and the subtle browns of the earth no longer registered as separate colors, but as an undulating tapestry of soft shifting hues that flowed and blended without beginning or end. This visual softness was profoundly restful, allowing your eyes to close without effort, content in the knowledge that nothing required observation, nothing demanded focus. A profound warmth began to spread through your entire being, not an external heat, but an internal glow, a comfort that originated from within and expanded outwards. It was the warmth of utter safety, of complete acceptance, a feeling akin to being wrapped in the softest, most luxurious blanket woven from threads of pure tranquility. Every muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the subtle lines of your brow, had softened and released its hold, dissolving into this pervasive, gentle warmth. There was no tension, no resistance, only a fluid, expansive ease. In this state, the concept of a physical body began to dissolve. You were no longer aware of the boundaries of your skin, the weight of your limbs, or the precise location of your breath. Instead, your breath became an effortless, almost imperceptible exchange with the very air of the glade, a gentle ebb and flow that mirrored the quiet currents of the pool and the timeless rhythm of the rain. It was as if the glade was breathing you, and you were breathing the glade in a symbiotic dance of absolute peace. Fleeting impressions, like the soft flutter of wings in a forgotten dream, began to drift through the landscape of your mind. The subtle glow of the glimmer-capped fungi previously observed in the Lumino hearth reappeared not as a direct sight, but as a faint, ethereal luminescence, a gentle pulse of light that brightened the edges of your inner vision before softly fading. It was a reminder of the glade's hidden magic, a light that existed even when unseen, a quiet testament to beauty that thrived in stillness. This ethereal light did not startle or awaken. It merely deepened the sense of wonder, folding it into the overarching tranquility. Then a whisper of movement, a delicate shimmer of an impossible form. The ether moth, that creature of pure moonlight and shadow, whose wings were an almost imperceptible flutter, emerged not as a solid entity, but as a wisp of iridescent memory. It danced across your inner landscape, its presence a testament to the glade's most ephemeral enchantments, a symbol of beauty so fleeting it could only be held in the gentlest corners of awareness. Its passage left behind not a trace, but a lingering resonance of delicate wonder, reinforcing the idea that the deepest magic often unfolds in silence, in moments almost missed. The presence of Agnes and Caleb, though not visually perceived, continued to be a soft, reassuring anchor in the periphery of your awareness. They were quiet guardians, their serene presence a gentle echo of companionship without demand. Their understanding, their quiet attunement to the glade's rhythms, seemed to permeate the air around you, adding another layer of trust and security to your profound unwinding. You felt their silent acknowledgement, a shared appreciation for this deep, restorative peace, a communion that transcended words and physical proximity. Your inner world began to take on the characteristics of the glade itself. The winding, moss-laden trails became paths of thought that meandered effortlessly, leading nowhere in particular, simply flowing for the joy of movement. The perpetual soft rain now felt like a gentle shower of inner cleansing, washing away any residual tension, any last lingering attachment to the world outside. The ancient trees, their roots deep in slumbering earth, felt like extensions of your own being, providing a profound sense of grounding even as you drifted. A subtle fragrance, an exquisite blend of damp earth, clean water, and the faint, sweet essence of unseen blossoms seemed to arise from within. It was the scent of pure glade, absorbed not through your nostrils, but through every pore of your being, infusing you with its calming natural perfume. This internal aroma was deeply comforting, a reminder of the natural world's profound capacity for healing and peace, a gentle invitation to simply surrender and breathe. The sensation of floating deepened. You were not moving through space, but rather expanding into it, becoming one with the vast, tranquil expanse that surrounded you. The air around you, once cool and damp, now felt like a breathable, liquid silk, supporting you completely. There was no effort required to exist, no struggle to maintain form or consciousness. You simply were a part of the glade's eternal lullaby, a quiet note in its boundless symphony. Thoughts, if they arose at all, were like wisps of mist, forming gently and then dissipating without attachment or consequence. There was no need to grasp them, no need to follow their trajectory. They simply drifted, ephemeral and weightless, across the vast, clear lake of your mind. This effortless spaciousness was profoundly liberating, freeing you from the ceaseless chatter of the mind, allowing a deeper, more fundamental awareness to emerge. The boundaries between inside and outside continued to dissolve. The gentle cadence of the rain, the hum of the ancient trees, the shimmer of unseen mist, these were no longer external phenomena, but internal experiences, woven into the very fabric of your consciousness. You felt the glade not just around you, but within you, a living, breathing entity whose peace had become your own. This profound integration was the essence of the journey, the ultimate destination of your tranquil expedition. You felt a deep, abiding gratitude, not a conscious emotion, but a resonant hum of appreciation for this quiet voyage, for the glade's boundless generosity. It had offered solace, stillness, and a pathway to a peace so profound it bordered on the sacred. And you had accepted, willingly shedding the burdens of the world, allowing its gentle current to carry you to this destination of pure, unadulterated serenity. The very concept of awake and asleep began to blur. You were not precisely one or the other, but rather in a liminal space, a wakeful dream, a conscious lull. Your awareness was heightened, yet utterly relaxed, perceiving without effort, experiencing without judgment. This was the promised edge of sleep, a state of profound rest that nourished not just the body, but the very soul. It was a space where healing unfolded silently, where worries evaporated into the mists of forgotten time. The gentle cadence of the perpetual soft rain continued, drumming against ancient leaves, smoothing the world into a canvas of greens and grays, and lulling your mind into a peaceful, dreamlike state. Each soft patter was a gentle whisper, a final invitation to release, to surrender to the sweet embrace of oblivion. The world had become a vast, encompassing cradle, rocking you gently towards deeper and deeper realms of peace. Your sense of self, that unique bundle of memories and experiences, softened and diffused, blending with the larger consciousness of the glade. You were a drop of dew on a mossy leaf, a ripple in the still pool, a wisp of mist in the ancient air. Individual identity gave way to a vast, interconnected awareness, a profound sense of belonging to something infinitely larger and infinitely more peaceful than yourself. This dissolution was not an ending, but a glorious expansion, an unburdening of the ego. I returned to a fundamental state of unity. A subtle, sweet drowsiness began to settle upon you, a sensation unlike any weariness you had known before. It was not exhaustion, but a luxurious, welcomed heaviness that pulled you gently downwards. Deeper into the soft embrace of the glade, your eyelids felt perfectly weighted, no longer needing the effort to stay open, no longer needing to perceive the external world. The visual landscape, already a soft blur, now faded completely, replaced by an inner expanse of gentle, formless light and shadow. The sounds of the glade, that continuous, soothing hum, now seemed to become one with your own internal rhythm, a silent mantra that resonated in the deepest chambers of your heart. It was the sound of everything and nothing, the pure vibration of existence itself, stripped bare of all complexity. This pervasive hum was a lullaby sung by the universe, a melody designed to guide you into the most profound and restorative rest. You breathed in slowly, deeply, and as you released the breath, you felt the last vestiges of any earthly connection softly unravel. The whispering glade had opened its heart to you, revealing its subtle enchantments, its ancient wisdom, and its boundless capacity for peace. And in turn, you had surrendered, allowing its gentle current to carry you to this profound and utterly tranquil destination. The world outside had faded completely, leaving only the soft embrace of the glade and the limitless peace within. Your eyes closed fully, not in sleep, but in a deeper kind of knowing, a quiet awareness that transcended sight. The sounds of the glade continued, a gentle serenade, a lullaby without end. You were simply present, utterly at peace, a quiet echo in the heart of the whispering glade, drifting into the boundless depths of pure, unburdened serenity. This was the final unfolding, the ultimate release, a journey completed not with arrival, but with dissolution into the very essence of peace. The feeling of soft rain, now an almost imperceptible caress, became indistinguishable from the gentle pulse of your own being. The ancient leaves, forever wrestling with their silent stories, seemed to whisper their wisdom directly into your soul, not in words, but in a feeling of profound, timeless understanding. You were a part of the glade, and the glade was a part of you, two aspects of a single, infinite calm. No thought remained, no desire, no memory, only this vast, expansive quiet. You had reached the shore of absolute stillness, a place beyond the reach of time and concern. The journey was over, not in cessation, but in perfect completion, a quiet voyage to the very edge of sleep, where peace reigned supreme and dreams were woven from the softest light and the gentlest whispers of the wind. This profound stillness was not an absence, but a fullness, a rich tapestry woven from tranquility, comfort, and a boundless sense of belonging. You were home, in the truest sense of the word, nestled within the soft, eternal heart of the whispering glade, drifting into the quietude that holds all things. Please like and subscribe for more tranquil expeditions.